What's happening, people? I can't even say we're back for another weekly live show because this is something I've never done before, and that's a special transfer deadline day show. Tonight I'm joined by three fabulous guests to discuss this transfer deadline day. Firstly, starting with Pav from Paxton Road TV. Pav, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
No, I'm very good, thank you. You been well?
Yeah, I've been good. Today's been very stressful. Keeping up with all this transfer business, but yeah, I've been good.
Ah, perfect. Great to have you on. Ben, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. A bit underwhelmed by how the day's ended compared to how it sounded earlier in the day, but it's been a good day to see Johnson get confirmed.
Yeah, it did. We will definitely be getting into it. We've got Ellis from the Spurs Voice. Ellis, how you doing? First time on the show.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Really happy to be here. Obviously, it's an honour.
Yeah, it's great to have you on. So let's crack into it, shall we? Get involved in the comments with your thoughts on any topic to discuss, any players Spurs are linked to in and out the door, and we will bring it up. Let's start with the breaking news just as we're coming live on air from Alistair Gold, and that is moves for Conor Gallagher and Lloyd Kelly. Not expected to happen at this stage for Spurs, and neither is a move out for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Pat, can I get your instant reaction to that news?
If I'm being honest, I'm not really surprised. I know there were so many rumours linked with Gallagher and Lloyd, and I just think, especially on the last day as well, I have no hope whatsoever at this point. And it was just rumours, right? And I'm not surprised, especially with Levy being in charge. I'm not surprised at all, and I had no expectation. So yeah, no surprises there, to be honest. Would I say I'm gutted? Maybe with the Gallagher one. The Lloyd one, not really that bothered, to be honest. I didn't really think that was going to be great business for us anyway. But yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you, Pav. Ellis, what do you make of this breaking news from Alistair Gold? Are you surprised, or did you see it coming?
Oh, I completely seen it coming, to be fair. Maybe the Conor Gallagher news took me by surprise a bit. I really thought they were going to push to get that done and over the line. But obviously it's because of Højbjerg not wanting to leave the club that has actually happened. But yeah, I'd say I'm gutted because I really rate Conor Gallagher as a player. He's a proper grafter. He always running to try and get the ball, always pressing, always trying to make up for mistakes if he makes any. I just think he's a brilliant young player, and I'm good to see that. Chances are we won't be seeing him at Tottenham.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Ben, what are your instant thoughts on this?
Yeah, I agree on what you're saying on Gallagher. It is a shame to see him, particularly how good he was in that season under Palace as well. That season he was absolutely brilliant, and he has done well in multiple positions at Chelsea. So it is quite annoying not to see him come. Maybe is it going to happen in the future? Don't know. It's hard to say really if that'll happen. The Kelly one is a difficult one because was I up in arms about it, annoyed when I saw the rumour? No, but was I over the moon? No, but was it somebody who, from all their data modelling, they thought was a viable player? Maybe. So then is it a bit of a miss? Who knows really? Would I have taken him over options we have? Yes. So I guess there's that, which means I'm a little bit disappointed, but I don't know. I think ultimately we did need to get someone in, but I think leaving it this late was never really going to work.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Ben, and thank you all. Big up to Barney in chat. I look forward to seeing you Sunday, Barney. I'm sure we'll get at the end of the show. We will talk about that, what we're doing. But let's get to the big news of today, and that is Brendan Johnson to Tottenham. Here we go. It was announced this morning by Fabrizio Romano just before 2 p.m. actually. So it is in the afternoon, saying agreement reached right now in Nottingham Forest on deal in excess of £40 million with add-ons included, and with the add-ons included, total package up to £45 million. Saying Brendan on his way for medical tests at Spurs. We had a latest update than that from Alistair Gold to say he's there. And he's saying priority target signed. So Ellis, what was your instant thoughts to this? Are you happy with the signing of Brendan Johnson, and how will he fit into the Spurs system?
Yeah, well, compared to the other players we've been linked with this transfer window, it's a bit underwhelming. But if Ange wanted him and Ange sees potential in him, he's a young player. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a very exciting prospect under Ange, getting developed in the next few seasons, hopefully with this being a rebuild. But yeah, for 47 million, I think it's a bit overpriced, but we'll see. You know, he's going to probably prove me wrong, most likely.
Maybe we'll find out, I guess. Thank you, Ellis. Ben, what are your thoughts on Brennan Johnson? I don't know if we discussed it.
Yeah, I think he's a great player, to be fair. I do agree maybe the price is a little bit much, but at the same time, he was one of the stars in Forest's team last season, and you got to think they only survived right at the end of the season. So he did well considering the limited chances he had at times, and he always looked to be a player that sort of got the crowd going and in games against them last season. So I think he is going to be a great addition to the team, and he sort of brings something a bit different to what we have. Whether he'll probably, it's a difficult one as to where he'll play, because he primarily sort of played on the right, but can obviously play it up top as well. And obviously, if he's playing at right wing, then that's a bit different to people we've got at Kulusevski, who are more of an inverted winger. And I think Johnson is a bit more of a take a man on, per se. So I guess it gives us sort of a different option as opposed to what we have now, which I think is why Ange probably wanted him so much.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Pav, what's your thoughts on Brennan Johnson? Talk to me.
I think, do you know what? I think the fact that we're getting him as a player, there's clearly something that Ange sees there, and we've just got to put our trust into what he sees and see how it goes. I think, yes, he was decent under Nottingham Forest, and I know we've been linked with all these other players, and, you know, he wasn't the top priority as per se, but I think the fact that we've got him, we just need to put our trust into him and his faith, our faith into him. And like you guys were saying as well, I do think that the price that we've got him as is quite high, but then again, we might be surprised as to what he brings to the table. We've just got to have faith at this point and just see how he plays. We might see a completely different player under Ange, and we might be surprised and think, wow, we've got him and he's amazing. So just got to see how it goes at this point. At least we've got someone, and would be better than the people that we've got at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him under Ange.
Okay, thank you, Pav, and thank you all. Tweet from Fabrizio Romano an hour ago about Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, saying negotiations between Tottenham and Athletic Madrid for Højbjerg are currently off. Spurs rejected opening bid as it was not included an obligation to buy clause despite reports. So Ellis, coming back to you, do you think for Højbjerg's sake it'll be the right decision to stay at Tottenham, or do you think he should be looking to make a move away?
Can I just say quickly before I do discuss this, Dan Kilpatrick has just said that Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is staying at Tottenham and moves for Conor Gallagher and Lloyd Kelly are now off.
There you go. What do you make of that, Ellis?
Oh, wow. It's, I mean, the past hour, you kind of expected it, but, you know, Lloyd Kelly, I wasn't really fussed about. I mean, I would have liked him to build on the squad depth, but Conor Gallagher, like I said, big miss on that one. Højbjerg staying at the club, though. I mean, I rated him about 2 seasons ago. I thought he was decent. And then last season, I don't know if it was just because he was under Conte and the way they were trying to play, but he just seemed like he was a bit passive in games. He didn't want to get involved as much as he normally used to. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be involved that much this season with our midfield and how good it is now. I guess it would be good to have him come off the bench sometimes, but I don't know. I wouldn't have liked him to stay at the club. I would have liked him to left and then bring in a better midfielder like Conor Gallagher.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome him now onto the show. Fourth guest who I've just been live with on Tottenham All Podcast. That is Lewis. Lewis, how you doing?
How are we doing, Harry?
Good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad, mate.
Yeah? Fantastic. Good stuff to hear. What do you make, Lewis, of Højbjerg not leaving Tottenham?
I think he needs to go. I don't think he's up to the scratch. But same as we're seeing too many of our big players now, or too many mediocre players on big wages, like Eric Dyer, Højbjerg, not wanting to leave. They're happy to sit there and run down their contract because they're on big money. It's pointless.
Yeah.
We should just be ripping up contracts.
Yeah, no, okay. Thank you.
Levy
no,
doesn't want
absolutely,
to.
Lewis. Yeah. Pav, what do you make of this Højbjerg news to you? How do you feel about Højbjerg for his own sake? Do you think he should be looking to make a move away? And for the club's point of view, where do you sit?
I personally think he needs to just go, to be honest. I think that he's not like at that standard that he was when we first bought him. When we first bought him, you know what? I was like, yes, he's the guy. He's all good and everything. And now it's just like, no, I don't like seeing him play, if I'm being honest. And I think he would do so much better away from us. But now the fact that he's staying, he's not going to get the game time. So he can't expect that now. Like you said, our midfield is amazing. It might just be a case that, he's on the bench and then we bring him on as a backup or whatever. But I personally think he just needs to go. And the fact that he's going to stay, it shocks me, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with everything you said there, Pav. Ben, what do you make of this Højbjerg news?
Well, it is annoying because I think he is someone that needs to get out the window. But in terms of how he works with the team, I think the problem is he was bought for, which is the problem we have a lot of managers. He was bought for Jose, wasn't he? And when he was all right in terms of sort of how we were playing, it kind of suited having him in terms of, if we're being honest, we didn't have a lot of the ball. And that Højbjerg is perfectly good at possession. The problem with Højbjerg has always been in possession, is a massive issue of him. So now under Ange, he doesn't really fit the team at all. So he's pretty much now this season being asked to play a role that he's not suited for and not the reason he was bought for, which is part of the problem that we've had at the club for a lot of past couple of years of buying getting a new manager every couple of years. So we've got players that don't fit the team, etc. And I think, unfortunately, he's kind of in that bracket of players that doesn't really fit Andrew's system, but at the same time isn't really a player that's easy to get rid of. So it's a difficult one. And like Ellis said, it would have been nice to get Gallagher in, but I guess it might happen next summer. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens with him.
Yeah, exactly. We shall wait and see. Big up to Mark in the chat, listening live on YouTube. It's transfer deadline day, saying pretty annoyed about the Højbjerg situation. He actually looked pretty good as a backup CM when needed. Against United, he did very well. Going on to say, good job when he came on. Last comment from Mark, who says, but the fact that we didn't accept a loan for him is going to make him not bothered about playing well in the future. The other fact he turned down Fulham is also a joke. He would have done well there. Lewis, what do you make of Højbjerg, turning down Fulham?
I didn't think he'd go Fulham, to be fair. I didn't think he would. Not when he was being linked with like Atletico Madrid or whatever. So I don't think he would have went Fulham. He would have went Atletico, but I don't think he would have went Fulham. But if he ain't going to play, then he should. And if he ain't going to play, then you need to go. And I think for footballers especially, they need to get out and play football. So
yeah,
the fact that he ain't looking to move just shows that he's not bothered if he sits on the bench all season.
Yeah, very good point, Lewis, actually. Ellis, what do you make of Højbjerg rejecting Fulham?
I think it was a stupid decision, really. Obviously, Palhinha was going to go to Bayern, and the reason he's not gone to Bayern is because Højbjerg has rejected that. But I think he would have got pretty much started every match for Fulham, and I think he would have fit in really well. Like Lewis said, I don't think him sitting on the bench is going to do us any favors because we're just going to be paying him a wage that he's not earned, and he's just going to be another piece of deadwood that we don't really need at the club at the moment, and it's going to be hard to get rid of.
Yeah, absolutely. Big up to Tyler George in the chat. who says, I think Højbjerg needs to realise that he isn't going to be part of Andrew's plans this season. So if he wants a game time, he needs to go. Barney Ambrose saying, I think he would have worked out well under Marco Silva. He's a Fulham fan, saying I would have liked him, obviously, but now keeping our star midfielder in Paulinho. And also saying, shame, he turned us down. And Mark, also, thank you, Mark, for another comment. Says so many offers for players you should have accepted, so as to put the decision in their hands and get them out of the door. So thank you very much, Mark, for that. Ben, can you understand why Højbjerg has turned down Fulham? Do you can understand why he's done that?
I think it might be partly due to thinking the Atletico move might happen, and he's sat there thinking, I'm going to get Champions League football at Atletico Madrid if I go there. And obviously now that's not happened. And now the Paulinho thing's not happened with Bayern Munich because of him. But then now the German window's shut, so there can't really be a U-turn on that. I mean, it's a difficult one. I wonder if Højbjerg, not saying this is right, but Højbjerg himself might think he's a bit above Fulham, which I don't think is right. But I'm just wondering, in his head, is he maybe thinking that he still believes he can play for a top club in Europe, although obviously we're not in Europe technically, but maybe that's part of his reasoning, is he might feel in a year's time he can get a move to a European club and play in Europe, maybe.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. I didn't think of that. Pav, what do you make of him turning down Fulham?
I think everything you guys said was spot on. I genuinely think that he turned down Fulham because he was waiting for another deal to come in, potentially Atletico Madrid, or there was also links with him and Man United as well. And I think the fact that he turned that down to wait for other deals, it's bizarre to me, because now it's the case that he's just going to be sitting there not playing football. And I personally think that if you want to play football, you need to get out of the club, because he's not going to play the football that he wants. So he's just going to be sitting there doing absolutely nothing, which I think is poor. But do you know what? At the end of the day, that's his problem now, isn't it? And I think now that the deal's off and he's staying here, he's just going to have to deal with the fact that he's probably not going to work under Ange.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that. Barney going on to say, let's bring the comment up. To be fair, the German offer came in too late for our player, hence why this happened, in my opinion. To be fair, you might be right there, I feel. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting situation. But moving on to Sergio Reguilón, who actually left the club today. Spurs took their social media at 4:06 p.m. saying Sergio Reguilón has joined Manchester United on loan for the remainder of the 2023-24 season. So coming back to you, Lewis, what do you make of this?
I think the Reguilón deal is absolutely shocking. I think it's shocking. Man United have two problems. Left back, CDM. They can't afford to bring in both. They can't afford to do both. So they come to Spurs. We'll have Reguilón. And if we don't like him, we'll send him back. We'll send him back to you in January. And what do? We accept it. So we've now sorted Man United's left back problem, and that now leaves Man United with the potential now and the money to say, we're going to get our DM now that we need. That strengthens us, and we've sorted our two problems out, and we've made ourselves better. Thanks. Now you just look after your problems.
Yeah, fair.
So I think it's pointless. I think the deal is pointless. We've just strengthened the rival.
Yeah, no, you make a good point, actually. Yeah, strengthening Manchester United. Ellis, what do you make of this? And do you think it's a clever move from Manchester United? They haven't paid any money for Reguilón. They, someone to fill in for Luke Shaw throughout injury. So as far as Man United are concerned, do you think it's a good move?
I think it's bizarre from Tottenham's perspective. As Lewis said, we've pretty much fixed their left back problem for them, and there's no option to buy. I don't think anyway. I don't think there was an option to buy. No. And yeah, I just think it's us trying to push our problems further away and run from them until next transfer window, when we'll have to deal with it when he's back with us, and we'll have to try and get rid of him, offload him. Yeah, I just think it's absolutely bizarre that we've fixed that problem in left back. obviously they have Delors, but I don't think he'll work with them properly. So yeah, Reguilon is going to start there, and we've just fixed that problem for them.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Ben, where do you kind of sit with this? Do you think it's a good move for Manchester United, a good move for the player in Reguilon to get first team football until Shaw is back? And do you think it's bizarre from Tottenham, like Lewis and Ellis have pointed out?
I think it's a good move for Reguilon because he wasn't going to get any minutes, and now he's had this opportunity because of Man United's injuries, and he's now going to get game time and potentially even play Champions League football. It's a weird one. Do I think he's good enough? Other than he's got a good cross on him, I don't think he's that good, if I'm honest.
Okay.
I had high hopes for a lot of the time. It would be sort of interesting to see how well he does at United. I don't know. It is a weird one to get rid of a player and help out one of your top rivals. But yeah, I'll be honest, it is quite a weird one. But for him, it's a good move. I think the only thing is the club will probably have seen it as one, getting a player out of the dressing room, and two, a purely financial decision because they're covering all of his wages of £120,000 a week. So I think from that perspective, it's good. But from a footballing perspective, I'm not too convinced.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Good insight there. Pav, where do you stand from this, and who do you think's got the best deal out of Manchester United, Reguilon and Tottenham?
I think Man United have benefited from it, to be honest. I think, like you guys have said, that we've basically solved their problem. And I was shocked to see that he was going Man United. And I think he wasn't great for us, right? But I think he'll be decent under them. And it's a good move for him. You can see already that he's excited to go to them, and he's probably going to play in the Champions League. But from a footballing perspective, I think that it's bizarre that, we're just getting players out of the door on loan for them to only come back to us after, and it's a cycle over and over again, and I just think it's so ridiculous right now.
Yeah, no, fair enough. You could make a good point. Lots of people agree. You got the loan doesn't fix the permanent problem. Moving on to the latest bit of news. I haven't heard anything on Davinson Sanchez about anyone else since this morning, but the news we heard this morning is that Rennes have made a €12 million bid for Davinson Sanchez. The source that claims this, source in France, never heard of it before. But if this is true, I don't know what you guys think, but I would accept it. This is a player who isn't going to get first team football at the moment, and the opportunity to bring centre backs in. 12 million euros is about 10 million. I think that's a good offer for Davinson Sanchez that I would accept. Pav, do you agree with me? Disagree?
I agree with you. Any sort of deal to get him out of the door. Bye. See you later. But yeah, I think I'm going to be honest. I have no hope of him leaving this transfer window. But that being said, if it was the case, he should go because he doesn't work for us. He's not great for us at all. And like I said, similar to Højbjerg, he's just going to be sitting there not playing football. So if you want to play football, off you go.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Lewis, where do you stand with the Davinson Sanchez situation? If it was true that Rennes came in for a €12 million bid, would you accept it?
I think I'll accept it and give him back another €11 million. Because I think we're knocking them.
Love it.
I don't think good enough. He's nowhere near good enough.
No,
he wouldn't start.
So,
and all I've heard all pre-season is Davinson Sanchez fits the system. No, he doesn't.
Interesting. It was reported earlier, Lewis, that Tottenham have rejected the bid for Davinson Sanchez. What do you make of that?
That's Daniel Levy just not wanting to cut his losses. That's all it is. Daniel Levy doesn't want to cut his losses. Because he paid 40 million for him. I can't sell him for 10. I've just lost 30 mil. That's Daniel Levy.
No.
But then he'll be here to the end of the contract. We're losing for nothing.
That's the thing he doesn't realise. Take the money now while you can, I think. Ben, where do you stand with this? And if it was true that not only this bid came in, but Tottenham rejected it, Do you think it's foolish of the club?
I'll be honest, yeah, because I think it's such a bad situation with Sanchez. Not only how badly he performs, but the abuse and sort of negativity that surrounds him whenever he sort of plays or has an error. I think it's best for all parties for him to go, if I'm honest. And I think we should have taken, like we were saying, I think we should have taken any offer that we could get, if we're honest. Am I surprised that they've said no? If this is true, I'm not surprised. But would I like to have seen it happen? Yes, because then we could have got one in, like Kelly, for example, who I would have taken. Because going into the season with our backup centre-backs being Davinson Sanchez and Eric Dyer doesn't exactly fulfil me with confidence for the minute Van de Ven or Romero get injured.
No, you make a very good point. Ellis, where do you stand with Davinson Sanchez's situation? And if you were the club and you got a bid about £10 million, 12 million euros, would you accept it?
Oh, any day of the week. Yeah. Like Pav and Lewis said, just get him out. Literally anything you can do to get him out. I would have put him on a free transfer. Just got him out of my club. Yeah, he's just cost us a lot of games in the past few years. Fulham included, missing the penalty most recently. I just don't think he's good enough to perform with us at Spurs. And obviously, yeah, the aura around him at the club, nobody really wants him here, to be honest with you. I don't think I've ever seen anyone take his side over anything. So, yeah, I just think we need to cut ties with him at the end of the day and maybe even terminate his contract so that we can bring in more players, for the rebuild.
Yeah. Okay, you make a very good point. Breaking news from Fabrizio Romano. Not the news that... Yeah, there you go. Yeah, just the news I didn't expect. And that is that Tottenham approached Chelsea to ask for Trevor Chalobah on a loan deal. No green light from Chelsea. Apparently difficult deal because of the rival. Formula off deal. Complicated deal by Forest, still trying to make permanent deal happen for Chalobah, but no green light either side for the player. So Pav, coming straight to you. Boom. We could potentially sign Trevor Chalobah on loan. What do you make of this? This is come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I'm shocked because that's like, wow, hit the bomb. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest. I really don't know. I feel like, do you know what? I feel like we're just being linked with everyone at the moment, and it's like no expectation at this point. And I don't know. Can you come back to me? I'm just gonna take a minute just to think about that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, don't blame you. This is a breaking news. I'll definitely come back to you. Ben, what do you make of this breaking news? Trevor Chalobah. I didn't see this coming, did you?
I definitely didn't see it coming, no. I'd definitely take him as a backup over Sanchez and Dyer, though. So if you look at it that way, I'm fairly pleased about it. Don't get wrong, he's not an amazing centre-back, but he's a lot better of a backup than what we currently have. So he is an improvement. So I would be open to it if they can get it done, but we only have 2.5, 3 hours to do it. So it's going to be tight. But if they can get it done in that time, obviously he'll be in London anyway. So it's not like it's far for him to travel to the training ground for a medical, etc. And they can always, I know they're allowed to do paperwork an hour after the window shuts. So if they can get it done, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, that is actually very true. As long as I think it's the contract or something is signed before then, they're allowed to sort out the last little bits. Yeah, as long as it's a done deal. Mark completely agrees with you here, Ben, saying we'll take Chalobah over Sanchez and Dyer any day of the week. Lewis, what do you make of this breaking news that all of a sudden we could sign Chelsea Trevor Chalobah on loan? And do you think it represents like a panic buy from the club because we haven't got a backup centre-back?
I think it's desperation. We need a centre-half in. I know, we're going to ask Chelsea for Chalobah. Embarrassing that you're going straight to your direct rival. Can we borrow your player? We're struggling. Yeah. Can we borrow yours?
Yeah.
Like, Todd Bowley's really going to go, oh, he's struggling in defence. Yeah, I'll take him. We don't need him.
Yeah. You don't think this deal will happen, Lewis?
Nah.
Nah.
I think that's our window done. I didn't
Mm.
even think that. I didn't even think we'd get Brennan Johnson over the line. I thought we was done. But
Fair enough.
over the line, stranger things have happened, but I'll be surprised if it happens.
Would
I
you
wouldn't mind
take?
if
Would you take him though?
Yeah, 100%. He's better than Dyer. He's
Yeah.
better than Sanchez.
Yeah.
When you look
I
at
agree.
it, Dyer and Sanchez would not start for a host of Premier League clubs. They wouldn't start for Palace. They wouldn't start for Wolves. They wouldn't start for Villa. None of the top 6. They probably wouldn't even start at Brentford. They wouldn't start at Brentford.
Yeah.
They might not even start at Bournemouth. Trevor Chalobah probably would.
Yeah, you make a really good point, Lewis. Lots of people will definitely agree with you on that point. Elias, what do you think of this with Trevor Chalobah? And would you take him? Do you agree with the boys and people in the chat? There's an upgrade on Sanchez and Dyer, but also do you think it represents like a panic buy from the club? This late in the window and they haven't bought a backup centre back in.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't know. Well, the name Chalobah sounds familiar, but I don't know much about the player at all. Trevor Chalobah, I don't really know much about the player. Like Lewis said, I think it's just desperation. I think it's Levi trying to show the fans that he's actually tried to do something or pretend to try done something other than Brennan Johnson for the defensive line. But yeah, so I can't personally say whether or not I'd take him. I'm gonna take your guys' word that he's better than that. Well, anyone's better than Sanchez in my opinion. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I guess I'd take him just to get the squad depth a bit better because we need it at the moment. But yeah, I think it's just desperation at this point.
Have any new thoughts?
I think the thing is, right, I think
Go for it.
like you guys said, I think he's going to be better than Dyer and Sanchez, and I'd take him over them two. And I think if this deal does come through, I personally don't think it's going to happen, but if it does come through clearly and sees something there and could potentially work with his system, do I think that he's the best option? No. But the fact that this has hit and dropped so unexpectedly, clearly if we do get him and wanted him, and it's come out of nowhere, so we've just got to have faith if this does happen. So yeah, I'd take him over Sanchez and Dyer any day.
Yeah, you're not the only one, so thank you for that. Now with Tanganga, because we got mid-afternoon that Japhet Tanganga had left Tottenham to join Augsburg, a Bundesliga team, for a €6 million loan fee, which is interesting. So coming back to you, Elias, what do you make of this? And do you think it's a good move for Tanganga to go on loan?
Yeah, I think it's a very good loan. I rate Tanganga as a centre back. I know he can play wing back, but I rate him as a centre back. I really do. I think he's got potential there that can be developed, but he just needs the right manager. Hopefully he finds that in the German league. Yeah, I think it's a good loan.
Yeah, okay. Ben, any different thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good loan for him. It's a difficult one, isn't it? Obviously, we've seen he can provide good moments, but the problem with Tanganga is he's never really had a proper long run going the team, other than he's sort of every time he got a couple games, he'd get injured for 3 months or something. And then in the past couple of years, when he's been thrown on, he's had one game where he's been put on, and no one's going to be good with one game. Like, you're not going to be match sharp. And he's typically been thrown around with sort of B-C team squads in cup games, or as like an emergency player when we've got loads of injuries. I think, for example, Brentford, just after the World Cup last season, he was playing with, I can't remember exactly, but I know he had Dyer next to him, for an example. And he's just always kind of put in the wrong situation and put in the wrong games at the wrong time. And then he's played badly. Everyone's got on his back. Then he's not been rated by the managers. And then it's kind of just been a continuous sort of word cycle that's led to this moment. And I think he's wasted quite a bit of his career, because I think he's already 24, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you could be right. I actually don't know, to be fair. Thank you, Ben. Lewis, what do you make of this? Sensible move for the player? Do you think, can you ever see it working? Japhet Tanganga back in Tottenham's first team in the future?
No, never. Nah, I don't think he's good enough. I think he should have been sold, to be honest. But as per usual, you know what we do. We loan players out and we bring them back. And we're stuck with the same players in the summer trying to get rid of them next year. It's always the same with this club.
No, making a very good point.
But Harry, I've got to shoot, mate.
No worries. Go for it. Thank you for coming on.
No
Where
worries.
can people find you, Lewis?
Bye, mate.
Before you go, can people find you?
Oh, you can find me on Tottenham Hall. I don't know what's happened to the camera.
You go sideways.
You can find me on Tottenham Hall podcast on all socials. You can find me on Twitter, myself at LewisEssex4. And that's about it, really, mate. Thank you, though.
No, thank you very much for coming on. Take care, Lewis.
Go check out Tottenham. Bye.
All the best. Pav, what are your thoughts on this Tanganga loan fee?
I think it's a good move for him, to be honest. I think that he needs, I think he'll be great in the German league. Like you guys were saying, I think he was good for us. I don't think he was that bad, but I think that he was messed about quite a lot. Obviously, he had his injuries, but it doesn't help being under so many different managers and not having that consistency and also not getting enough game time. And I think had he got that game time, we could have potentially seen a great player. But that being said, I think now that Ange has come in, I don't think he would have fit in with his system. So rather than him just sitting on the bench and doing absolutely nothing, I think a loan deal is the best possible option. So I think it's a great move.
Okay, thank you very much. We have got some more breaking news, and that is Newcastle made a late move for Hugo Lloris. Reporting this is Martin Hardy via the Times Sport. Pam, what do you make of this more breaking news?
Wow. Just keep them coming. To be honest, haven't heard much about Lloris, have we? There's not been much going on, and the fact that that's happened, that's great. I mean, if it does happen, bye, see you later. Because otherwise he, like I said earlier, like other players, he just would have been sat there doing absolutely nothing, right? And I've seen some people saying, oh, if he doesn't make a move, maybe he could be our backup goalkeeper. I think his time's up now. He's been here way too long. I think he just needs to get out of the club and go branch out to another club now. So I think Newcastle, wow, I didn't expect that. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Have we lost him?
I think so.
I think he's gone.
Oh.
West Ham have gone.
Yeah, I've just seen that.
West Ham have what?
Okay, Harry's gone.
Hello, I'm back. I'm back on my own show, believe it or not. Apologies for the internet issues. No, very sorry about that. Welcome onto the show, Benjamin. I hope you're okay with calling me Benjamin. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, mate. Yeah, not too bad at all.
Yeah, nice to have you on. So what do you make of our deadline day so far?
I don't know. I mean, where are we at the minute? Like, who are we supposed to sign in? Like, we didn't make Europe last year, so who are we supposed to sign? I don't know. But for me, I think it's, apart from Maddison, I think it's a little bit underwhelming, personally. Like, I think that, like, the Brennan today, like, I hope he comes good, but I think we should be aiming for, as I say, who should we be aiming for? You just don't know, do you? So, And as for Gallagher, like everyone's saying about the if we get him, but everyone's saying about the season he had that was good with Palace. Fair enough, yeah, he did, but he ain't done much since that. So I mean, Lingard went to West Ham, had a great season with West Ham, and then after that he went back to Man United and did nothing. Where's he now? Down the job centre, probably.
No, you make a really good point, Benjamin. Elias, what do you make of this news around Hugo Lloris? And do you think he will leave, make a late move to Newcastle?
I don't know. It's a tough one. I think if he goes, I don't think he's going to start because they've got the likes of Nick Pope there, who starts pretty much every game. But I think it might be a good move for him because, like I say, we're trying to get rid of Deadwood. I think it'd be a good move for us as well, like getting more players out there and showing that we mean business. But like I say, it's one that just come out of the blue randomly, and I think in the end you will end up going to Newcastle. Hold on a sec. Sorry, I'm having a bit of issues here.
No worries. Do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah, please. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. That's fine. Ben, so what do you make of this Newcastle news around Hugo Lloris? And can you see him going there? Because apparently he turned down Lazio because he wasn't going to get first team football. So can you see him turning down this as well? Or do you think he'd be the number one? So Nick Pope, I can't see it, but can you?
If that's true,
that's a strange one as well, isn't it?
Oh,
the other Ben, sorry.
I'm forgetting, my bad. I forget we got two Bens. I'm going to call you Benjamin, and I'm going to call Bateman Talks Tottenham Ben. Sorry about that. So, Ben, what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's a weird one. I didn't expect to see it come in so late, if I'm honest. Particularly Newcastle. Like you're saying, the first 10 minutes, he's not going to go to Newcastle and get first 10 minutes. So, really don't get that, to be honest. Maybe the Lazio thing, maybe he just wants to stay in the country, potentially. Obviously, he isn't English, but maybe he doesn't want to move abroad this late in the window, so it might be a bit more appealing to him. I can't imagine it would be on a very long contract, but it is a bit of a weird one because he's obviously not going to get the minutes. So is it worth it for the move all the way up north? Maybe he just sees it as it's more convenient than going abroad, potentially.
We could be spot on, yeah.
Or he might just do a Scott Carson and just sit on the bench and win loads of trophies.
Yeah, he could do. Who knows? Maybe. So, Benjamin, what do you make of this Hugo Lloris news, and do you think he will go?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's going to do, to be fair. But
sorry to I've got an update on Hugo Lloris. The Magpies have offered him a season-long loan deal. Do you think that change your mind?
Yeah, I mean, whatever's good for him. I mean, for me, like I've got nothing against him. He did the best he could for us. I know we were critical of him in the end, but we had some great times with him, and he had some great times with us. So whatever he does, I wish him the best. To be fair.
Yeah, no, absolutely no worries. Elias, you got any more to say about Hugo Lloris and now knowing obviously it's a season-long loan? Can you understand the move? Puzzled me, this.
I've just seen that apparently Sofai's turned down the switch to Newcastle.
Okay.
I don't know. It's one that's just it's one that's come out of the blue and just completely dazzled my brain. I don't know what's going on with that one, but it's a bit random, to be fair. I don't really have much to say on it. Like Benjamin said, I do wish him the best if he leaves because he has been with us for a long time and he's contributed a lot to the team and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, I wish him the best if he does leave, but I don't think he will.
No, thank you very much. Big up to Mark in the chat. Thank you for all your comments. And the latest news is, like you say, Elias, this is from the Times Sports saying Hugo Lloris has so far turned down the season-long loan switch to Newcastle because he hasn't been guaranteed first-team football and thinks he'll be sitting on the bench. Crikey, this transfer deadline day is moving quick without getting players in or out the door. The talk is moving very, very swiftly, put it that way. But now, before we kind of wrap up for today's show, I want to come round and say if the transfer deadline window shut now, let's say, okay, or it ends at 11 p.m. and we only bring in Brennan Johnson. No more players go out the door. No more players come in. Starting with you, Ben from Bateman Talks Tottenham. What would you rate it out of 10?
Providing Chalobah stuff doesn't happen and it stays exactly as it is now, I'd probably give it a 7, if I'm honest, because I think we've done some good business. Don't get me wrong, we've done a lot of good business in Maddison, who I think is going to be one of the players of the Premier League this season. Vicario is looking good. Destiny W last summer. Mickey van der Ven, brilliant. He looks absolutely amazing. I'm really impressed with him. So yeah, I'd probably give it a 7 because I still feel there are a lot of areas that needed to be addressed. Maybe 7's a bit generous considering the lack of outgoings. But yeah, I think we definitely needed another centre back, potentially even 2 centre backs. If I'm honest, in an ideal world, getting rid of Dyer, Sanchez, and having 2 other ones would have been nice. I'm not sure that's realistic in terms of getting 3 in, 3 out. But then you see other big clubs do it, so you could argue, why can't we? I still think we should have replaced Harry Kane with maybe a more sort of, just a world-class number 9, if I'm honest. I don't think Richarlison is up to it by any standard, to be honest. I'm quite worried about that, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's why I'd give it a 7 if I'm being generous. But there was definitely room for improvement, and the lack of money spent since the Kane sale, I think, is a bit questionable.
Yeah, no, you make a very good point, Ben. It certainly is. Pav, what would you rate this transfer window, your honest rating out of 10? If it closed now, let's say Brennan Johnson comes in, no more players come in and no more players come out the door.
I think 5, 6. I'd say, if I'm being generous, a 6. I think, like Ben said, we done good business with getting, Maddison in. He's been amazing, and also Vicario as well. I was wrong about him. He's been fantastic, and hopefully he continues to do so. And then Mickey van der Ven. But we've not addressed the areas that are still missing. And like you said, Ben, I think a big concern is not replacing Kane. Richarlison, I just don't think that he's going to meet that standard. I think, yes, maybe if he gets a couple more goals in, it might build his confidence, but I don't think that he's going to be the person for that position, if I'm being honest. And then we've got other areas of improvement that we need, and I just don't think that the fact that it's not going to be addressed, I think later on in the season that's going to be an issue with us, because if we've got injuries and stuff and we don't have the other players to help out, then we have a big issue. And I think the fact that that's not happened and Levy's just left out doing anything with the Kane money is quite concerning. Where's that money gone? Apparently it's been spent already. Spent on what? I'm very confused, and I don't know. I don't think we've done amazing business because we've not addressed the areas, but I think he's done well in getting in the likes of Maddison, Mickey van der Ven and Vicario. But yeah, I think that's why I'll give it a 6 if I'm being generous, because we've done that part, but we're still missing the areas that we need to improve on.
Okay. No, thank you very much. Pav, before I come to you, Benjamin, 2 bits of breaking news. Alistair Gold kind of saying what was reported earlier, saying Hugo Lloris isn't believed to be interested in a move from Newcastle after they made a move to bring him in. Paul O'Keefe also saying that he has been told that Hugo Lloris isn't believed to be interested at all to move to Newcastle. The other bit of breaking news is Tottenham still see Fulham's Tosin Adebayo as an option and could make a really late bid. Well, if they're going to make a late bid, they better go on with it, because I tell you, transfer window shuts at 11 p.m. If you haven't put a bid in for a player yet, cracky, you need to get on with it. Put it that way. But Benjamin, what would you rate our transfer window out of 10 if it's shut now?
Well, I'd probably give it about a 7 just for getting Maddison alone, because I think he's going to be very instrumental for us. So just getting him, I didn't think we would, but we have, and I think that's going to be a great signing for us. But as the other 2 said, it's the problem areas that are a problem. I don't think Richarlison can do it on his own. I really don't. I was worried when we brought him. I thought 60 million was far too much for him. I don't think he's the man for it. Like now he's got his goal the other night. I hope that spurs him on, but I don't think he's going to be a sort of Kane goal scorer a season. I think we'll get 10 out of him at best. Do you know what I mean? But the others, Van de Ven looks very good. So it remains to be seen, don't it? But yeah, I'd give it a 7 just for Maddison alone, to be fair.
Okay, thank you, Benjamin. I love the positivity. I think Maddison's going to be a huge player. If he isn't already, he's already fan favourite, vice captain, got his own chant. Boy, has he settled in well. 2 hours, 10 minutes until the window closes. There you go. Elias, coming to you. What would you rate our transfer window out of 10? We've had a 7. We've had 2 7s and we've had a 6. So what's yours going to be?
I'm going to join the 6 and I'm going to go with the 6. Reason for that is because I think with the way we've gone around it, we've brought in crucial players. We've brought in Maddison, who's going to be crucial to the system. We've brought in Van de Ven, which we really needed for the back line. Vicario, which we also needed because Lloris is getting on now. He's not as good as he used to be. So we brought in crucial players. I like to think that Brennan Johnson's going to be crucial for us. He's going to be really good for us. So I hope he joins that list of crucial players. But then again, I don't think our squad depth is good enough. Like Ben said earlier, we're one injury away from having Sanchez in the back line again, and it's just a scary thought, to be honest. So if it closed now, that's what it would be in the end. And it's a really scary thought. And then with the Kane thing as well, like selling one of our best player to Bayern Munich like that, I just think it's unforgivable. And I don't think, the fact that they haven't tried to bring in a top striker to try and replace him is just, it's absolutely phenomenal that they've sold him and then not attempted anything. Just try to settle with Richarlison, who they already have. I just think, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that is it for the transfer deadline day show. Big up to everyone in the chat. I'm going to quickly go through and shout as many people as I can. Sorry if I miss anyone because there's been quite a few people. Big up to Barney. Big up to Mark. Big up to Tyler in the chat. A few others as well. Another Tyler. Another Mark as well. So big up to everyone in the chat. Barney says, let's pin up his comment. I wouldn't be surprised to see Tosin make a late move now. Obviously, Barney is a Fulham fan, but time's running out. We need urgent players incoming ourselves. So ideally, I don't want him to go, but you don't want an unsettled player either. Very good point. Apparently, Adebayo is training on his own. That's been since his link to Monaco. But like I said, that is it for today's show. Big up to everyone in the chat. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Thank you for all the growth and love recently. That's massively appreciated. It's just been great. Subscribe to the channel, like I said, if you like it, leave a like. Because this is great and it is free to do so at the end of the day. And big up to the guests I've had on today. I've got 4 of them with me right now. Had 5 on in total. So I'm going to go around one by one and ask where people can find you. Starting with Pav from Paxton Road TV. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on our podcast, Paxton Road TV, and also on my Twitter, which is Pav Joe.
Thank you very much, and thank you for coming on. Ben from Bateman Talks Tottenham. I'm already giving it away, aren't I? Where can people find you?
So you can find me basically on my YouTube and my Twitter, which is Bateman Talks Tottenham, where I just do videos with my dad, similar to everyone else, about Spurs and things like matchday vlogs as well.
Yeah, okay. Go check out Paxton Road TV and check out Bateman Talks Tottenham. Yet to go on Paxton Road TV. Hint, hint, Pav to get me on. Been on Bateman Talks Tottenham.
It will come, I promise.
Oh, thank you very much. No, it's both great channels, though, to be fair. I do watch when I can. Elias made his debut from the Spurs Voice. Elias, talk to me about where people can find you and the Spurs Voice and what you're doing at the moment.
Mainly we're just using Twitter at the moment. We are looking at trying to transition into YouTube, but if you want to find us, we'll be on Twitter at the Spurs Voice. We provide news, opinions from other fans, and matchday thoughts, all from the fans. And you can find us on Twitter.
Okay, thank you very much for making your debut. Last but not least, also making his debut, Benjamin. Benjamin, where can people find you?
Well, Twitter if they want to, but it's not that interesting, to be fair. I'm not as interested as these other guys. I'm not on any podcasts or anything. You can come and have a look. So, yeah, just on Twitter. Fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Big up to everyone who come on. Let's hope Tottenham get some late business done, whether it's bringing in a backup centre-back, somehow making a move for Conor Gallagher. I don't know, and it's hopefully we can ship some players outside the window. You just never know with Tottenham, that's the thing. But as we always say on this show, on this channel, come on you Spurs.
Nice one. Cheers, Harry.